Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're about to witness an emotional turning point in Jack and Tu Tien's journey as an unexpected gift changes everything. Will inviting Mr. Phuong into their home finally make their lifelong dream of building a peaceful farm come true? Or will this heartfelt decision bring challenges they never saw coming? Stay with us to find out. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. That afternoon, Jack managed to finish work at the company earlier than usual. Instead of heading straight home, he decided to stop by the supermarket. He wanted to surprise Tu Tien with a special dinner. Walking through the aisles, he carefully picked out ingredients, thinking about everything Tu Tien liked. She works so hard every day, he smiled to himself. Tonight I'll cook for her instead. A package of salted chicken immediately caught his attention. Tu Tien always enjoys this, he thought, before placing it into the shopping cart. He grabbed fresh tofu, mushrooms, yogurt, fruit, and a few other ingredients before checking out. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Tu Tien had just finished harvesting the fruit from their small garden. With baskets full of freshly picked rambutan, rose apples, and star fruit, she headed to the local market. The afternoon wasn't particularly crowded, but she greeted every customer warmly. Fresh rose apples, sweet rambutan, everything was picked this morning. One customer stopped. How much for a kilo? Only 15,000 dong. Really? Let me try one. After tasting a piece, the woman smiled. They're sweet. I'll take a kilo. Another customer followed, then another. Before long, people gathered around her little stall. Some bought a kilo. Others decided to take everything that remained. One elderly customer even laughed. If I buy all of it, can you give me a better price? Tu Tien smiled. Of course. Within only a few hours, every basket was empty. She couldn't hide her excitement. I sold everything. It wasn't just about earning money. It was proof that the garden they had worked so hard to build was finally beginning to bear fruit, both literally and figuratively. As she packed up her empty baskets, she called Jack. Are you home yet? I just got back, Jack replied. I'm getting dinner ready. Drive home safely. Tu Tien smiled. Okay, I'll be there soon. Back at home, Jack had already finished preparing dinner. The table wasn't extravagant, just a few simple dishes. Salted chicken, a refreshing tofu and mushroom soup, steamed rice, fresh yogurt for dessert. Everything was ready by the time Tu Tien walked through the front gate. Oh, you're home early today? Jack looked up with a grin. I wanted to surprise you. Tu Tien laughed. I was planning to cook. Not today. You worked hard enough already. She looked around the kitchen. You cooked all of this? It isn't much, but I hope you'll like it. She couldn't stop smiling. Some surprises didn't have to be expensive. Sometimes coming home to a warm meal after an exhausting day meant everything. After changing into comfortable clothes, Tu Tien joined Jack at the dinner table. So, Jack asked, how was today? You won't believe it. I sold every single basket. Everything? Everything. Jack's eyes widened. That's amazing. I didn't expect it either. The customers kept coming. They even bought the last few kilos together. Jack laughed happily. Looks like our little farm is finally starting to pay off. Tu Tien nodded. I think we're moving in the right direction. The conversation drifted naturally as they enjoyed dinner together. Jack encouraged Tu Tien to eat more. You barely had lunch. You need more energy, Tu Tien teased him. And what about you? You finished work and still came home to cook? Jack shrugged. I wanted you to rest for once. They both laughed. Their home wasn't luxurious, the meals weren't expensive, but at that moment, everything felt complete. After dinner, neither of them rushed inside. Instead, they stepped into the yard together. Their dogs immediately came running. Vang wagged her tail excitedly. Mew circled around their feet. Kai sprinted across the garden before stopping expectantly near the food bowls. Jack chuckled. I think someone is hungry. Together, they mixed rice with leftover meat before feeding each dog one by one. Watching the puppies eat happily always made Tu Tien smile. After cleaning up, they wandered slowly through the garden. Jack paused beside the small pond. Look, the water lilies have started growing again. Tiny green leaves floated gently across the water. Even more exciting, several flower buds had already appeared. Tu Tien's eyes lit up. They're finally recovering. I think they'll bloom in a day or two. Jack imagined the pond surrounded by flowers. We should decorate around it. Maybe collect stones, or even build a small fence. Tu Tien laughed. You always have another project. Jack smiled. That's because this place is slowly becoming home. The evening breeze cooled the air as both of them stood quietly, admiring everything they had built together. The fruit trees, the vegetables, the pond, the animals. Months of effort were finally taking shape. Neither of them noticed that this peaceful evening was about to become a turning point in their lives. Jack suddenly broke the silence. Today, I ran into Mr. Phuong. Tu Tien turned toward him. Really? How is he doing? Jack's smile slowly disappeared. I don't think he's doing well. I saw him carrying all of his belongings. He seems to be staying in abandoned places, moving from one friend's house to another. Tu Tien looked down. She had always known Mr. Phuong had quietly helped them when they needed it most. The thought of him growing old without a permanent home weighed heavily on her heart. Jack remained silent for a long moment. Then, a thought that had been lingering in his mind finally became words. What if we invited Mr. Phuong to live here with us? Tu Tien froze. She understood immediately what those words truly meant. If Mr. Phuong moved into their current house, then Jack and Tu Tien would finally move down to the farm permanently. Not someday, not in the distant future, but now. Their dream. The life they had talked about for so long could finally begin. She slowly looked into Jack's eyes. Neither of them spoke, yet both of them smiled. At that moment, it stopped being just an idea. It became a decision. The two of them remained standing quietly beside the pond. The evening breeze gently rustled the leaves while the last rays of sunlight reflected across the water lilies. For a long moment, neither Jack nor Tu Tien said anything. There was no need. Sometimes, silence carried more meaning than words. Finally, Tu Tien spoke softly. You've been thinking about this for a while, haven't you? Jack nodded. I have. Ever since I saw Mr. Phuong, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I know he doesn't like asking anyone for help. He has too much pride for that. But seeing him carrying a backpack with all his clothes, it really stayed with me. Tu Tien lowered her eyes. She remembered every moment when Mr. Phuong had quietly helped them in the past. Whenever they struggled, he always appeared without expecting anything in return. Now, life had become much harder for him. He's getting older, she whispered. and he shouldn't have to keep moving from place to place anymore. Jack looked toward the small house behind them. This house may not be big. It isn't luxurious, but at least it gives someone a place to sleep peacefully. Tu Tien nodded slowly. I agree. If we invite him here, he'll finally have somewhere to call home. Jack smiled faintly. And you and I can finally move down to the farm. Those words made everything suddenly feel real. For months, maybe even years, they had talked about building a simple life surrounded by nature, growing fruit, raising animals, living closer to the land. Every plan had been postponed because something always came up: money, work, responsibilities. There was always another reason to wait. But now, this decision changed everything. It wasn't only about helping Mr. Phuong, it was also about finally taking the first real step toward the future they had always imagined. Tu Tien let out a deep breath. It feels strange. What does? It feels like we're standing at the beginning of something completely new. Jack laughed softly. I was thinking exactly the same thing. The two of them walked slowly around the garden. Every tree reminded them of countless afternoons spent planting, watering, and caring for the land. Every flower represented patience. Every harvest represented hope. Nothing had come easily. Everything around them had been built little by little, day after day, season after season. Jack suddenly pointed toward one corner of the yard. We still have plenty of work to do. The fence needs repairing. The storage shed isn't finished, and we'll probably have to clean the farmhouse before moving. Tu Tien smiled. I know, but somehow, I'm excited. Even if it's difficult. Jack nodded confidently. We'll do it together. Like they always had. As darkness slowly covered the sky, they returned to the porch. Tu Tien picked up her phone. I should call Mom. I promised I'd check on her. Jack handed over his phone instead. Use mine. I think yours is still in your bag. A few moments later, the familiar voice on the other end answered. Hello? Mom, it's me. The conversation quickly became filled with laughter. Tu Tien happily shared everything that had happened throughout the day. I sold all the fruit today. And Jack came home early just to cook dinner. Her mother laughed warmly. He really takes good care of you. He always does. Jack listened quietly from nearby, smiling as Tu Tien continued talking. They chatted about family, about the garden, about the new water lilies, about when her mother would return home. Before hanging up, her mother reminded both of them to take care of themselves. Don't work too hard. Stay healthy. We will. After ending the call, Tu Tien leaned back in her chair. I miss Mom. Jack nodded. She'll be back soon. For a while, they simply enjoyed fresh fruit together under the evening sky. The apples were crisp. The yogurt was cold. The weather, despite the heat earlier in the day, had finally become pleasant. Everything felt peaceful. Then Jack glanced toward the pond once more. The flowers should bloom tomorrow. I can't wait to see them. Tu Tien smiled. I think this place gets more beautiful every day. It does. And someday, it'll truly become the home we've always dreamed about. Night settled over the countryside. The dogs curled up near the porch. Crickets filled the air with their familiar songs. Inside the house, the lights remained on. Jack suddenly remembered something. Oh! I still have one report to finish. Tu Tien laughed. I knew work wasn't completely over. It'll only take a little while. Jack opened his laptop and began reviewing documents from the company. Only minutes later, his phone rang. Hello? Yes, boss. I've already emailed the report. Please take a look when you have time. After a brief conversation, Jack returned to his laptop. Everything okay? Tu Tien asked. Nothing serious. I just need to make a few adjustments. Then finish it. I'll stay here with you. Jack looked at her. You don't have to. It's getting late. You should go to bed. Tu Tien shook her head. I like sitting here. I don't really understand what you're working on, but I like keeping you company. Jack smiled. You really don't get bored? No. I actually enjoy watching you work. She quietly poured him a glass of water before sitting beside him again. The only sounds left were the clicking of the keyboard and the gentle breeze moving through the trees. Every now and then, Tu Tien looked around the garden, at the pond, at the fruit trees, at the little house that had witnessed every step of their journey. She couldn't stop thinking about the conversation they had shared earlier, inviting Mr. Phuong to live here, moving down to the farm, starting a completely different life. It all felt almost unreal. Jack continued typing while Tu Tien rested her chin on her knees, staring into the darkness beyond the garden. After several quiet minutes, she spoke so softly that it was almost a whisper. Maybe. This is the greatest gift life has ever given us. Jack stopped typing for a moment. He looked at her, then out toward the farm. A gentle smile appeared on his face. I think you're right. Neither of them realized that every beautiful gift comes with responsibilities and sometimes unexpected challenges. As the screen slowly faded to black, one final message appeared. But neither Jack nor Tu Tien knew that this unexpected gift would soon lead them into a challenge they never saw coming. After a productive day, Jack surprises Tu Tien with a warm homemade dinner, while she happily shares that all the fruit from their garden was sold. As they care for their animals and admire the growing water lilies, Jack suggests inviting Mr. Phuong to live with them. This heartfelt decision could finally allow the couple to move to their farm, begin their dream life, and face unexpected challenges together ahead.